All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another live stream with three based bros on Reactionary Opinion, the most based and reactionary show on the African continent. What a fantastic week this was. Exhausting, but hey, I'm glad it's over. And it's absolutely been a total clown world out there in the news, to use a gentle term. But we're going to be basically talking tonight about the big news in the show, or big news all over the world at the moment. Well, let's focus on South Africa for now. There's some interesting news from abroad that we're going to be talking about as well. But D-Dog, Mr. Patriarch, how are you doing on this Friday evening, sir?
Doing pretty good. Just a little bit sleepy. Right before this, I just put out yet another video. It's called The Glories of Fatherhood. And yeah, you can find that on my channel at Mr. Patriarch on YouTube. So I just got done doing that. Had a nice quiet work day, and I'm tired from the baby. Stayed up a little bit late last night, but otherwise I'm doing finer than frog hair.
That's great. I'm also actually working on a video now. I don't know if I told you, Dylan, but I'm also working on a video about fatherhood and all of that. Myself and Dylan are new fathers and still sort of reveling in the enjoyment of it. Yeah, I'm also going to be making a video about, well, fatherhood and stuff. Sir Russell the Based, how you doing there, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm just looking forward to, discussing all the clown issues around the world today and all the nonsense in the news. But yeah, it was going to be fun. We're just going to make it as interesting as possible, you know? And looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I've got my whiskey here, so I'm going to go ahead and pour myself another, top up my whiskey over here because, you know, whiskey, this is my last bit of whiskey that I've got left, so whatever, might as well just go for it. Anyway, so in the news today, or not in the news today, in the news this week, yeah, so our esteemed dictator-in-chief went and, I guess, condescended or spoke condescendingly towards us the other day, and it was yesterday, and closed down the schools, closed down public schools for 4 weeks. But I think it's grade 7s and grade 12s. I think grade 12s only get a week break. And then the grade 7s only get a 2-week break. God, it's crazy. And then, but yeah, public schools are closed for a month because, but private schools aren't. I guess, you know, the logic on that is just, it's just bang on. You know, save lives. I guess that's Cyril's thing. I guess not that closing schools at all is going to save any lives at all, anyway. But yeah, that was a crazy bit of story. Russell?
You know, there was nothing about healthcare around that issue. It was pure political nonsense. The unions went to Cyril and said, listen, we want an extended holiday. We don't want the risk. You'll give us the extended holiday or else. And Cyril said, anything you want. Thank you very much. Then Cyril goes on TV and says, oh, guys, you know, we are trying to save lives. And meanwhile, you know, at least be honest just be honest, you know. Just say, listen, the unions want the schools to close. They want extra holidays with paid leave. SADTU likes to do nothing all day. They've been holding our education system to ransom for the last 25 years. And I think another 4 weeks is fine. Let's just carry on and let these guys carry on. That's my fellow my fellow citizens of South Africa, that's the way we do things.
No,
These
Russell,
guys-
it's our people. It's not.
look,
our
this is
remember.
our people. This is how we deal with our people. Like insulting term. That's such an insult. That.
No,
but
let me tell you something.
but I
Cyril
think
Ramaphosa, I am not your person. Okay.
Yeah, but I think that you must remember. I mean, the thing is, I think admittedly it's a horrible language term, but in language that is an African term. From an African cultural perspective, that is how it is said. As a white person, that is highly offensive because you are not a chief, you are a servant, you're a public servant. But in African language and African culture, that doesn't exist. So they don't actually have a word in their culture for a public servant. So they are actually able to call the black masses that they rule over our people, because that is the cultural norm. It's a language thing.
Yeah, Dylan, what do you think about this whole story?
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's seems like typical shenanigans that you'd see from a what would you call it, a public sector union. More money and less work for our members, please. And yeah, it's and with the lockdown, it's a good excuse for you push for this kind of thing. As I understand it, teacher attendance in South African public schools is actually quite low. The amount of time that they actually spend in the classroom over their contract period is abysmal. So they're not even doing what they're paid to do, but you can't really fire them. So yeah, I mean, I don't expect anything from anything good from these characters. They're terrible, and they're keeping these kids behind. They're a diversion drain to everybody, and the sooner they're outed for the disgusting people they are, the better.
Yeah, Dylan, you're breaking up a little bit, but I got the gist of what you were saying and stuff. And
as far as the and
sorry, Dylan, you're breaking up. It's like really bad.
Okay.
So
right.
I just want to jump in. Sorry. Yeah, that's better. Dylan.
All right, go for it.
Okay, so anyway, it's interesting that Dylan mentioned about the teachers not actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, and their attendance being so low and that sort of thing. And as someone who was raised by a teacher and someone who has another sibling who is a teacher, I have a fairly good understanding of what a teacher's calling is. And the whole thing is that if you take days off and delay days in a year of education and stuff, of educating students and stuff, there's a lot of catching up that you have to do. So if you miss out on certain portions of the year, of the educational year, there's going to be a lot to catch up on, and you're going to be quite a far way behind. But I don't think these teachers really give a crap about that. I don't think they care anything about the actual work involved. I don't think they care anything about that.
No, it's just they want free money, free time off. It's a great excuse to get some extra time off and money in the bank for doing nothing. Simple.
Yeah, well, I mean, the politicians aren't really setting much of a better example anyway. So they live off of stolen money anyway. So yeah, that's the thing. Hello, Shirley Creed. Hi, nice to see you hanging out with us. Andrew, how's it, guys? How's it, Pa? Nice to see you guys. So yeah, that's the thing. Also, is that the teachers at this point in time really don't give a crap about their students at all, which is not really a
They don't give a
Yeah.
damn. There's this article I was going to quote. It was from the Sowetan, and there was a study done a while ago by some people at Wits, I think, and they found that during the study period of teacher absenteeism, about 20% of South African teachers were absent on Mondays and Fridays, and 33 were absent during month end. So, I mean, can you believe that? 1 in 5 teachers not there on Mondays or Fridays, and then a third of them don't show up basically after payday. So they're having old St. Mondays as a day off, I guess.
Yeah, so talking about the education system and stuff, we did a video with our mother, with myself and Russell's mother, who's a teacher, or a retired teacher. She spent 26 years teaching in the public sector. And I mean, the real public sector, I mean, rural public sector, the actual public sector. I'm not talking about public schools in Cape Town and stuff, but proper public sector. And how she basically, over those 26 years, saw such a blatant change in the education system. I mean, a massive deterioration of that. But go and check it out. I think I'll put the link to that video in the comments section. You can check out that video. It's quite a good video. So public schools closed for 4 weeks, guys. Can we move on to the next story? Was the hospitality industry protests. Dylan, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess all I have to say is, what do you expect when you destroy the livelihoods of thousands and thousands of South Africans, and then tell them that they can't go back to work? So it's one of those things where people, they can take a hit, right? They can take knocks. That's when they lose their shit. So yeah, I mean, it's absurd. So it's just once again just one of these dastardly things that the ANC is doing. Yeah, all my best of luck to these people. I hope that they can put pressure on them, and if they can get away with conducting business in a safe and responsible manner, then yeah, they should. Because I mean, who am I to tell them they can't provide for their families? And sacrifice what they probably spent years and all the money they had into getting started.
Yeah, look, I mean, the thing is, I don't know if you watched the video clip of the march to Parliament. There's a video clip by one of the News 24 journalists. I mean, there's even a clip of them going down, I think, what's that road where the police station and that is in, and the courts. I don't know can't remember what road it is. Buitenkant, no? Buitengracht, I'm not sure. Buitenkant or something like that.
Yeah, it's Buitenkant, yeah.
Yeah, that where Truth Coffee is, all right? And they go down there with a water gun, all right? And they spray the water gun to the protesters from Truth Coffee standing outside. They spray the water gun at the protesters standing outside Truth Coffee, the employees they're making a protest, like a public statement, all right? And they just sprayed right into the blooming shop as well. If you've been to Truth Coffee, they've got like those terraced sort of open doors where you basically sitting out on the street, They sprayed water in there, and you see these cops walking down the road with full battle gear on and everything. And they previously, before that, when they were at Parliament, without any notice, they just set off stun grenades and everything to disperse them, and water cannon the guys out of the way and everything. It was absolutely, completely a complete thuggery, It's actually like, pretty. I think the guys mustn't worry about protests. All right, that's actually not the way to go. The best protest you can do is simply carry on with your business. Get everybody to just simply carry on with your business. And if they arrest people, you just rock up there the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. These protests to Parliament and that sort of thing are not going to work.
No, well, this is the point, is that the ANC doesn't care. They won't listen to you. I mean, you can protest, you can scream and shout as loud as you want. They don't care. They really don't care. The point is, protesting isn't going to do anything. What we need to do is just carry on and disobey. End of story. Civil disobedience is what is needed, okay? And there are people that are starving, families that don't have food on their tables. And when those fathers or mothers go out and protest for the opportunity to feed their family, can you believe it that we're actually talking about this now, for the opportunity to feed their family? People are protesting just for that. That the most basic right. People are protesting about that. Okay. And it's become quite clear that the ANC has a particular protest that is allowed to happen. So a union protest is allowed to happen. A private business or private company protest, that's out. There you get fire hosed or you get brutalized by policemen. Okay, but sure, the unions are allowed to protest and burn stuff and burn buses and do whatever they want, you know. They won't go in there with guns or anything, or not guns, but they won't go in there with fire hoses and stuff. They won't do anything like that. But, you know, private companies protest to carry on their businesses. No, you can't have that. So the protesting thing is not going to work. It's not going to help. They've made it quite clear. The ANC has made it quite clear that this is not going to work. So people just need to do what they need to do. Just open your doors, carry on with business, sell your booze, do what you need to do. Okay, we all know and understand that these laws and these rules that the ANC have put in front of us are absolute nonsense. Okay, why is it that we need to now conform to what the ANC is saying? But the moment we, as the citizens, the people that pay these so-called servants their money or their salaries, okay, the citizens that put them in power, now when we want to say no, okay, enough is enough now, we want to, you know, open our businesses and feed our families and stuff, you can't. Okay, then when they say, oh, but COVID, then we say, okay, right, fine, COVID, show us the numbers, show us the models that you're using, show us why you've got us in this lockdown. Oh, no, we can't show you that. No, we don't. You're not privy to it. You might not understand it, you pleb citizen and stuff. So just do what you need to do, guys, out there. Civil disobedience. I'm sorry, there's no ways. I don't care. People can come for me. I don't care. Okay, people need to start disobeying the government. End of story. And it's true what my dad says over here. He says it reminds me of the apartheid cops. It's exactly that. It's exactly the apartheid cops. Why not?
Yeah, that's every time I think about protest action is sort of one of those things where it's supposed to be a show of force, right? And the problem is that in virtually all protests, if they don't serve the narrative, they don't get coverage, right? So you can have like a small protest of like some union workers, harassing for more government money in Port Elizabeth, and that'll make the newspaper. Or you could have some protest in like Oregon or something, and that's international news. But for example, the March for Life, which is an annual anti-abortion protest in Washington, D.C., which gets hundreds of thousands of attendees, is actually it's the longest going, I believe, and definitely one of the largest protests. Nobody even knows about it because they don't report on it. Like, it's in the local news. And that's the thing. So your effort to try and like gather awareness and attention for your cause with these protests, if the regime is against what you're trying to do, they're just not going to cover it. or the corporate press, right? So sometimes you have situations where the regime maybe wants to change things, but the money power, so to speak, is diametrically opposed to it. The only time where you really have protest action that is really effective and anti-establishment is sort of like what you had in Serbia with like Slobodan Milosevic, where basically it was like, we're going to destroy this country if you don't leave. And so he's like, okay, I'll leave. But unless it's sort of one of those things, it's not going to get any coverage. It's not going to get any traction. And your protest isn't really going to, it's just not going to be on the radar, unfortunately. And it shouldn't be that way, but it is.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, okay. Listen, I mean, the thing is, the only people standing up for freedom today are the taxi owners. They're my new heroes. They are our bastions of bulwark against this tyranny at the moment. And yeah, so it's quite ironic. I never thought I would be a taxi industry supporter, but I'm becoming one.
Well, Russell, it's not that it's the fact that the taxi industry oaks know how to get what they want. They're like, listen, if you guys don't give us what we want, we're just going to burn everything. We're just going to destroy everything, So, and it's the same with the unions. The unions say, listen, check here, you oaks don't give us what we want, we're going to burn everything, But, peaceful private business owners are there. They don't want to really destroy stuff because they're there to build. They're there to feed families. They're there to do these things and create employment. The unions, we know, are just there to cause nonsense. We know this. But the unions and stuff know how to get their way over, get their leg over the ANC. That's the whole thing. So Andrew Kroll says Scott is becoming radical. This is the early stages. Jeez, if this is the early stages, then I'm probably like 4 years into radicalization, and I must be like extreme radical at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
John says the truth is radical. Yeah, exactly, John. I guess the truth is radical these days, I guess.
Definitely so. But yeah, I think basically business owners like restaurants and these sorts of things was just basically write a letter to the only way to deal with this is actually write a letter to the president saying, listen, here's a group of 1,000 of us or whatever. Either give us the opportunity to trade, we're giving you X amount of time, give us the freedom to it, or we're just going to take that freedom for ourselves. Done. That's it.
Yeah. So look, you can't just be you can't just go out there and just do these things. So what, like Russell said, is give the government fair warning. Say to them, listen, we have 1,500 of us restaurant owners or whatever who support, collectively 30,000 people or whatever it is, and we need to feed these people. We have 30,000 people that we need to provide food on the table for and stuff, and all of that. We give you 2 weeks to either provide us with a platform that can support our business, or we're just going to go ahead and do what we need to do. And that's pretty much exactly what the taxi industry and all the other guys said. But I mean, the taxi industry guys are not like, I'm pretty sure they didn't word it so kindly. But
they wouldn't even give them a time. They'd just say, nah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
But yeah, look, I mean, enough on this blimmin' protest is going to upset me. I think we should move on to some other news. It's just going to like irritate me. You know what I mean?
I have something that we can move on to over here. I'm going to share this with you guys over here, which is, I'm pretty sure everyone's seen this tweet by the South African government.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is right, Dylan. It says the ban on the sale of alcohol and cigarette, singular, will remain in place throughout the lockdown period. The purpose is to save lives and protect the health and well-being of our people. Oh,
It is
alcohol,
such
alcohol.
condescending language. That is
Yeah.
so in your face. You useless citizens. We are putting our boots on your throat, and don't you dare move. That's what that tweet says.
That's exactly what it says. Yeah. That's exactly what it says. Look, they did retract the tweet, I must say. They did retract it, where they said, where is it now? They said, hang on, here it is. Oh, wait, where is it? Sorry. Give me a second. But oh gosh, that's it. Okay, wait, I can't get it on the screen, so I'll just read to you what they said. It said this account posted a tweet earlier today which said the ban on the sale of alcohol, and cigarettes would remain in place throughout the lockdown period. This is incorrect. The sale of alcohol and tobacco products is prohibited under the current level 3 regulations. This decision may be reviewed at any time by the relevant structures should the conditions which necessitated whatever change. We regret any confusion the tweet has caused. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure you don't really regret anything, but yeah, can you believe this ridiculousness?
Nah, I don't put anything past these people anymore. So it's it was probably some guy who got the wrong message, or maybe that was like what they planned to do, and then they see the backlash and they're like, all right, we can brush off the hate if we say it was only just for level 3. I don't know.
I can guarantee you, Dylan, I can freaking guarantee you I'd put money on this, brew. This is the scenario, what happened. Okay. In the South African government Twitter room or whatever, office or whatever it is, they're sitting there saying, these bastard citizens, they want their alcohol and their cigarettes back. You know what? They can get effed. We're not going to do that. I'm going to put out a tweet now to tell them to piss right off. The ban on the cigarette products shall remain. Sit down, shut up, you stupid citizen plebs. I can guarantee you without a doubt in my mind that's exactly what happened.
These are complete sociopaths, man. They got zero empathy for anyone. I mean, I haven't seen this level of, it's not incompetence, it's not stupidity. It is actually it's a complete lack of any empathy whatsoever. And also, when people call out the government, people must stop calling the government out, calling them corrupt and calling them this and that. Call Cyril a sociopath. Call it what it is. And NDZ, a bunch of sociopaths, a demonically inspired. So call it for what it is. You know, you have to actually bring this thing into the. If I was an opposition party leader, all right, I would bring this pimple to a head. That is what you got to do. If you as an opposition political party want to gain out of this lockdown, all right, create something, stir up a bit of like angst or something, all right, and make yourself look like the one that's calling out what things actually are, and make something of it, you know. But there's far too much respect for authority in this country. Far too much respect.
So, Russell, that when Cyril came on and spoke, I couldn't help. So, my dad's probably listening, and he will tell you, he would vouch for this, that when I was a youngster, I mean, I was probably, I don't know, 13, 14 or whatever, I used to help my dad. My dad was a local sort of handyman in the town, and I used to go and help him fix stuff in the old age home in my hometown. And there were very often situations where a random old senile man or auntie or whatever would come and sit next to me while I was working and just tell me random stories as if we were in like 1943, and tell me about the war, and like, oh, tomorrow we're shipping off to the war, tomorrow we're going off, my son Johnny, you just went off to or something like that, like that sort of talk, that absolutely don't know where you are, who you are, or whatever it is. And that I had severe flashbacks of that when Cyril was talking. This oak is senile, bro. He doesn't know what is going on around him. This oak, well, obviously he does know, he's a sociopath, but I just get that vibe. Like he's talking about, like, oh, we're defeating, we're going to challenge corruption and all this. Challenge corruption? The ANC is going to challenge corruption? Are you kidding me? These guys are like the best at corruption. At the corruption Olympics, the ANC has won gold medals that are like they can swim in them, like Scrooge McDuck. Okay, Cyril has. I'm pretty sure that these guys have told themselves this lie so many times that they actually believe it. That's all I can say. I mean, I need to pour myself another whiskey. I mean.
Look, I think actually the general masses, all right, the general masses in the country actually know that their leaders lie, all right. They do know, all right, but it's not cultural to do anything about it. Okay, so it's not that it's not cultural to say or do anything about it. So that's the difference, especially amongst the minorities in South Africa. It's the other way around. Okay, it's completely the other way around amongst the minority groups in South Africa. Is that they're actually far more trusting. They'll believe the government at their word, all right, but then will get upset when they've found out that it's a lie. Get what I'm saying? So you've got a situation where it's a very much a cultural type of dynamic.
Yeah, I think that is 100% correct, Russell. I think that I think that's probably why guys like Cyril and NDZ and all these people get up there and talk about these things. Is I think that they have almost sort of a confirmation bias in that they everything that they think and they believe is confirmed in the situations and stuff around them, or their people around them that sort of enable that kind of behavior. And I don't know, I mean, that's just my thoughts on that. D-Dog, are you still good? Can you still stay? Sorry, I didn't mention that Dylan needs to sign off soon, so I don't know if he's still okay to stay on for the chat.
Oh, that's all right. I guess I'll just sort of say my 2 cents and then dip out. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just so black-pilled on everything. I think probably. Where do we go from here? It's just like one calamity after another. Gosh, social disobedience, I guess. Like what you were saying with the corruption and whatever. Asking the ANC to investigate corruption in its own party is like asking robbers to turn themselves in. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I mean, just is basically lean on these people, lean on these, build whatever parallel institutions you can, carry on business as usual if you can, and hopefully just just lean on these other organizations and whatnot as much as you can, because they're not going to change from goodwill because they care about the people, because they don't. They care about themselves. They care about their members, and that's about it. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's all I have to say. And with that, I'm going to depart. Thank you very much for having me on, guys. It was fun, but I got a scheduled date night and recreation with the missus. Part of what we do around here at Reactionary Opinions is advocate traditional living. And part of traditional living is pursuing your female and keeping the flame alive. So that's what I'm about.
That's right. Happy wife, happy life, D-Dog. Thanks for coming.
Amen.
Mr.
The household must be maintained.
Exactly. The household must be maintained. And I guess one more time, if anyone's interested, I just released a new video called The Glories of Fatherhood, which can be found on Mr. Patriarch at YouTube. Talk to you guys later.
Cheers, Dill.
So Russell, there's another interesting little article over here that I want to go to. Another bit of news for the week, which is quite something. So apparently there was a whole bunch of prisoners that escaped from Malmesbury, or a prison in Malmesbury.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Let me just share this over here. Share the screen here quickly. Chrome tab. There we go. All right. Sorry, I'm sniffing in the bloody camera like that. In the microphone. That's terrible.
Oh, COVID.
Yeah, sorry about that. That's like the first symptom, isn't it?
I don't know.
Scratchy nose. So anyway, 61 prisoners re-arrested in Malmesbury, 8 on the run. So these prisoners basically escaped from prison. They basically overpowered these officials, as they call them, at this prison that they were at, and just basically ran out. So it says over here, according to the statement, the escapees overpowered officials, took the keys, locked 3 of them in a cell, and opened the cells before escaping through the main entrance and over the roof.
That is what they call somewhat of a staged event or inside job, obviously. Because I think the whole idea, I probably find there's ringleaders, and those are the how many are still on the run?
8.
Yeah, so basically, it sounds like quite a cool idea. All right, you all kind of escape, but the ringleaders basically you
remain escaped.
Oh yeah, the other guys, there's 70 odd that escape, and 61 are just run interference. You know what I mean? So to speak. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, it sounds like if they get away, they get away type of thing. You know, I think there must have been some sort of ringleaders, and maybe I'm just giving these guys too much credit.
I want to see where these guys actually are now. Hang on.
We'll escape from Malmesbury prison. Malmesbury prison is not too hectic.
It says Malmesbury and neighboring police stations and the West Coast, together with officials, are. So they could be. Jeez, bro, they could be quite near to us, Russell.
Yeah, but Scott, think of it this way. Okay, all these criminals, and Malmesbury is not a heavy security prison. I don't think it's more. It's a very reformative type prison. I don't think it's, from what I understand or anything. I might be standing the correction. But the thing is, who was it? End of last year, beginning of this year, they just arbitrarily let 15,000 prisoners go anyway. So who cares? Who cares?
true.
So
Yeah.
what's the difference? What's the difference? These guys,
61 prisoners is a drop in the giant barrel. So
well, look, hey, listen, they were probably going to get released in a couple of months' time anyway. You never know. I was speaking to some people in the security industry. I've got a client in the security industry, and he talks to cops and he talks to criminal justice system and all that sort of thing. Basically, since the 80s, they haven't built a single prison in the Western Cape.
good God, really? Since the 80s?
Well, since I think the last correctional services facility from the ground up was built, I think I stand corrected, but nothing in the last 20 odd years.
Good God, that's shocking, eh?
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, basically, I think what they're trying to do is like, you've got awaiting trial prisoners and all this sort of thing. What should actually happen is a place like Pollsmoor should just be awaiting trial prisoners. And then once they've been sent to jail, they should build all these prisons. They do have a lot of prisons in like in Worcester and Wellington and Paarl and Tilbach and Malmesbury and all these places. They all had prisons, but there's still actually not enough, correctional services facilities.
But anyway, that's a bit of a silly story that these prisoners escape. That's a
let's move on.
But if there's people in the comments section and stuff, I see there's quite a few comments and stuff. Dad's getting based as always. He says, "Who let the dogs out?" Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they let themselves out, Pa. They went and did their own things. And he says, Rama Pupol doesn't give a shit about anything. He is in control, and that's it. Yeah. So I think this Shirley commented and said, and Lance the Boil. I guess that's what Russell's reference to what you were talking about earlier on, about saying it like it is. I guess that's a reference to it. Anyway, leave comments, guys, in the comment section. Remember to like the video. Share this stuff, guys, if you enjoy hearing us reactionary bras talking about these things.
Yeah. So what's next on the agenda?
Yeah, I'm going deep here, bro. I am going into this. Wait, let me find the article. I've got about 1,000 tabs open over here, so bear with me on this one. Here we go. I am going into this one. And this is something that everyone needs to try and avoid and reject as much as you can possibly do. Okay. There's this actually started, over a month ago. A coronavirus vaccine trial in South Africa, and these sort of things are always sort of tested first in South Africa. South Africa is basically a testing ground for globalism and all of these weird ideas and stuff. And there's this weird vaccine. Okay, so it says here the vaccine developed by the Oxford University's Jenner Institute, which I'll get back to in a sec, is seen by researchers and governments as the front runner in the race to find an effective vaccine against the coronavirus, which is now confirmed to have infected almost 15 million people globally, including more than 373,000 South Africans. So anyway, I'm not going to look, I'm not an anti-vaxxer type guy. I really am not. But I would resist this vaccine with everything. So do not go out and get the vaccine for the COVID virus. It's just silly.
Yeah, let's mass vaccinate people for a virus with a 99.8% survival rate. Let's vaccinate everybody. I mean, this is ridiculous now. This isn't polio. This isn't Ebola. This isn't any other sort of it's not smallpox or whooping cough or all these other sort of things that we were all inoculated against back in the day. Let's get with the program. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, so this virus has literally existed for less than a year. Well, I mean, maybe it existed before that, but it's only been really infecting people for less than a year, and we're already starting vaccine trials. I mean, as far as I knew, it takes years to develop a vaccine, and now we're already starting these vaccine trials. I mean, it's just absurd for a virus that has, like Russell says, a 99% survival rate. I mean, or is it just like, okay, we don't want to get viruses? But if the virus isn't going to do anything to me, it's not going to kill me and stuff. Why would I get myself vaccinated against it? It's
not worth it. It's not worth the risk.
Yeah. So that's one thing, and then this is the next thing. So remember in the article over here, it says the vaccine developed by Oxford University's this Jenner Institute. Okay.
Yeah. Jenner Institute being Edward Jenner, obviously the guy that found penicillin, right?
Yes. Okay. So it's interesting how they frame these things under the guise of these amazing people that founded amazing things, like the Jenner Institution founded, or the guy founded penicillin, which saved thousands and not thousands, millions and millions and millions of people's lives, and they almost sort of cover it up under that veneer to do this, which is what I'm showing you now. The funders and partners of the Jenner Institute, which is, you just need to do a slight bit of research and stuff. So it says the human vaccine programs are supported by grant income from a wide range of funding agencies. In recent years, these have included the Wellcome Trust, the Medical Research Council of the UK, the European Commission, and lo and behold, the Gates Foundation. So these are the partners in this Jenner Institution. Okay. Now, if you go and look at the funders over here, one name that jumps out to me is this one over here, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, obviously. So, a lot of people might think that Bill and Melinda Gates are these amazing philanthropists and stuff, but yeah, I don't. How does a guy?
I don't know. Look, put it this way. I mean, the thing is, Gates has got a how can I put it? What's good way of saying it? A ridiculous or almost like a dystopian view of vaccines. He wants vaccines for just about every little thing out there. Why is he giving so much money to?
Sorry, Russell, we lost you there, bro. Are you back? Oh, no. Russell's internet acting up again. I don't know what's up with these people's internet. Anyway, Russell, are you back? Russell? No. So what Russell said, what Rob McLaren said, which is 100% correct over here, he says it's not a vaccine. It's a cocktail to make you obey and other things. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Bill Hammond. Hello, Bill Hammond. Haven't seen you on the streams around yet, but thanks for joining. Yeah, 100%. It's all about New World Order control. We're just going to wait. Russell just left, so his internet probably completely conked out. So we're just going to wait for Russell to rejoin us. But yes, Bill Hammond, it is all about New World Order control. Look, I guess 5-6 years ago, when if anyone ever heard you saying things like, oh, it's a New World Order, people would laugh at you. These things are becoming more and more true as we as we progress down this rabbit hole. And you know, a lot of people. I'm not really a I guess a conspiracy theory nut and stuff, but a lot of people will just sort of say things like, "Well, you're just a conspiracy theorist and stuff." But I'm like, no, all these so-called conspiracy theories are just coming true as we go along. You know, I guess 5-6 years ago, a lot of things that were so-called conspiracy theories now are conspiracy facts at this point. If you believe that the government and multi-billionaires out there are not there to push not so much push an agenda, but to almost control you into making them more money, if you think that doesn't exist, then you're either extremely naive or you're living under a rock. And it's not a good idea to be living under a rock. Anyway, let's go through some of the latest news. I don't know why Russell disappeared. His internet probably completely conked out. Internet suddenly failed. Yeah. There we go. So yeah. Anyway, let's find some more news over here. Sorry, I got completely thrown off. So interestingly enough, Dan Plato, the mayor of Cape Town, was appalled by the video footage showing the aggressive conduct of the police outside Parliament today. He accused them of using heavy-handed tactics against peaceful hospitality industry protesters this morning, which were held under the slogans of hashtag Jobs Save Lives and hashtag Serve Us Please. Yeah, look, yeah, the protests and stuff were ridiculous. Shirley says it's becoming frighteningly apparent. I've read so many science fiction novels that were very prophetic. Yeah. You know what, Shirley? I'm actually I know Russell's back now. There we go. What happened there?
Sorry about that. Sudden internet disconnection. It does happen from time to time.
Usually, it was as soon as we started talking about conspiracy theories and New World Order and stuff, you got thrown off.
Yeah, it must be they're listening in. You know, they're listening in, but it wasn't by internet speed. I lost it completely. A complete internet loss. But anyway, that's it.
Anyway, so you're back now. So Shirley made a comment over here. It says, so basically what I was talking about is the fact that, you know, if you don't believe in these conspiracies and stuff, and that the New World Order exists, and that governments are out there to control its citizens and blah blah blah, Shirley said it's becoming frighteningly apparent. I've also read so many science fiction novels that were very prophetic. Now, Shirley, I'm actually reading a book at the moment, brilliant book I read years ago called The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. And it's a brilliant book. Now I'm on one of his letters where he talks about war and putting images of negativity in his. So I don't know if you. I suppose I should explain what the book is about. So it's about a head demon by the name of Screwtape, who's writing letters to his nephew, who's a demon in training. His nephew's name is Wormwood, and these letters are basically sort of warning this guy and instructing Wormwood on how to control his patient, as they call it, which is a human that he's planting these thoughts and stuff into that human's mind. And I'm on the chapter right now about where they talk about war, and it talks a lot about planting images of despair and negativity and fear and all these things into people's minds. The idea of, which I'm sure a lot of people are going through at the moment, the thought of sitting up all night thinking about these terrible things that are going to happen to us, and thinking about these horrible things that are going to happen to us, and those horrible things kind of draw us away from the truth and the light, and it's just fascinating.
There's actually a military strategist. He's a Prussian guy called Clausewitz. Maybe I'll just Google his quote here. I want to get it right because it's such a good quote. It's all about how you win, how you actually win a war.
Yeah, so Shirley, you're 100% correct over there. So that is those stories. I mean, C.S. Lewis was probably one of the greatest intellectual minds of our time. Brilliant. I'd recommend anyone that's listening now to, if you've read Screwtape Letters, revisit it, because I'm revisiting it now, and it's phenomenal. Really is good.
Let me just get that quote, Scott. Basically, this Prussian military strategist called Clausewitz. I'm trying to get it here. I'm trying to read the exact quote. But basically, war is an act of violence, not necessarily physical violence, but violence to break your opponent's will, first and foremost. It's not about the violence in and of itself. You need to actually break your opponent's will. So if you can put out enough bad stories in the media and enough wear people down mentally, fatigue them mentally, all right, then you win. That type of thing. It's that type of strategy. What's his name? I think. Sun Tzu, Art of War, also is it's kind of touched on in his books as well.
Yeah, so there's two different types of wills. There is will, lowercase, and there's capital will. So obviously there's the will of God, and then there is human will. So the will of God is obviously something that you cannot change and that you should submit to. And your will is something that keeps you up at night and keeps you worrying. And if someone can break that will, they essentially end up controlling you. That's the whole point, how those two things are intertwined: the will of God and human will, in my mind. John made a comment over here. John made a comment over here. He says, "Scott, can we talk about Logos? I'm keen." Well, what do you want to talk about, John? You have to be a little bit more specific, because the term, the topic or the subject about Logos is very, very, very broad. So try maybe put in the comment section. Tell me what you want to address, because Logos is a very, very difficult term to just talk about.
Yeah, we're going to run out of time tonight on that one. That's for sure.
Yeah. Craig says, Craig Vallette, that's my cousin. How's it, Craig? Says, and the guy named Will, like William. Yes, Craig, that guy. Shut up, man. But yeah, this is the thing: is what is the time? What are the times calling for at this point in time? I mean, what are we meant to be doing in these? We've gone through the news, we've gone through Cyril closing the public schools for no apparent reason, just because the union said he must. By the way, something that he also mentioned in that speech and stuff, in his nonsense speech, was that the Western Cape might have actually reached its peak. Actually reached its peak like 2 weeks ago. Actually, we spoke about that in one of our episodes as well. We've spoken about the hospitality industry protests. We've spoken about the rubbish tweet by the government and stuff. And all this news is very sort of negative and disparaging, and can get people very, very sort of down in the dumps. And what the times call for now, and I'm convinced about this, is because all these things that the government is doing, all these things, all these tweets, all these other things and stuff are noise. Okay, they are things that are put there to draw our attention, again, controlling our will, drawing our attention away from the light. Okay, and drawing our attention away from the power that is going to get us through all of this. And I personally think that the best thing that you can do right now is remain calm, raise a good family, teach them well, stay married, all of these things. And I believe that is the way that we actually defeat these people. Okay, obviously you have to be aware of what's going on around you. Protesting, speaking out about these things is a good thing, but what's vitally important at these times now is to make sure that we talk about or remain strong.
Correct. But I mean, the thing is, yeah, like I say, people want to the new way people in the modern age, to control people, you don't need necessarily to drag people into the streets and shoot them type of thing anymore. You don't need to do that anymore. All you need to do is you play the mind games. You know what I mean? And this is what it is. It's a constant, slow dripping to break people's will to resist, or will to live even, actually. You know what I mean? I think it even goes as far as that. But if you look at in terms of what was written, if you read the Bible, when the Israelites were taken into captivity in Babylon, and the sort of way in which they still managed to organize themselves there, it was a case of maintain your laws, raise your families, obey your God, all those sorts of things. And that is what actually saved them over 40 years when they were in occupied in Babylon, when they were taken into captivity in Babylon for all those years, you know. And it was such an important time. I think it's one of those key moments in the Bible, the period of Daniel and his friends, and the whole story of Daniel comes out of the Israelites being in captivity, all these sorts of things. I think, yeah, some great faith building events come out of that. But that is the whole idea behind it, is that don't let anybody break your will.
Yeah, so Shirley says, yeah, well done, Shirley. She says, we need to resist the efforts to break our will, and that's exactly it. You know, yeah, that's exactly it. We need to resist every effort to break our will. Every effort.
Oh, well, look, I mean, a lot of people, unfortunately, I mean, that's why, you know, if I can just, the way we sharing with everybody here tonight and communicating these things, if I can just tell one or two people about, you know, resist, don't let people break your will, and those people tell one or two people, and those people tell one or two people that they know on a relational level, before long the game's up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Before long the game's up, and that is what it starts. You might and what you can't believe, all right, you must never have the attitude. One of the worst ways to break your will is the thing that, oh, nothing will change. Well, okay, will nothing change? Well, as long as you don't change, yes, nothing will change. So if you change, then things will probably change. If you don't change, then they can definitely won't change.
Yeah.
And I can tell you they definitely won't change. So, Johannes, a lot of people, that is how people's wills get broken. You got to have a bit of an iron will, unfortunately, these days.
Yeah, you do definitely need to do that. This is the thing is, I'm thinking about doing, because I'm really enjoying reading this Screwtape Letters. It's specifically considering the times that we're going through at this point in time, and every letter, it's not chapters, it's like short letters, because Screwtape writes all these letters to his nephew, and I'm thinking about picking out my favorite sort of letters that he writes to his nephew and making videos about those specific letters, because I think that those specific letters are so relevant to the times that we're living in today that I think that people need to either read the book or just watch those videos that I make about those things. What do you guys think about it? Tell us in the comment section. John says, all right, next time. I really like this channel. John,
thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think we've seen you on this channel or on the streams and stuff. But yeah, tell us what you like about the channel.
Don't worry, we're not going to ask you to throw money at us like other YouTubers, you know what I mean? Like other internet YouTube whores,
Yeah, you see, the reality of our show is that myself, Russell, and Dylan are three mates who really enjoy educating ourselves on the realities of the world. Okay, and we started off as I guess Russell's always been based. He's always been a hardcore oak and stuff. I've been a libertarian before, and Dylan's been an ANCAP before, but we've recently sort of rejected those claims, so much so that about a year ago we made a video called this might trigger some of our listeners, but so what? It's called Libertarianism is Satanism. So anyway,
do as thou wilt.
do as thou wilt. But yeah, it's a good thing. But anyway, watch that. So John, tell us what you like about the channel. We'd be very interested to know.
And I see one of our old guests, JP De Silva has just joined us here.
Hey,
there he is there.
John Pontes, welcome back. No more Christian, nice guy. Good to see you, man. So Shirley says, Scott, that's a good idea. I will get a copy of Screwtape ASAP. Yes, Shirley. Yeah, enjoy it. It's really, it's a good book. But I find myself that I often find myself while I'm reading the letters and stuff, I often have to sort of read them 3 or 4 times, because there's a lot inside them, a lot inside the each letter, a lot of stuff to take in. It's good life.
Well, C.S. Lewis writes quite detailed. So how can I put it? I read Screwtape Letters years ago. I've read Mere Christianity as well years ago. I've actually got it.
That's a hard book to read, bro.
Yeah, I've read. Look, like I say, I read that one. It was years ago. It's a good 10 years ago that I read it. But that's and I remember Screwtape Letters. That was quite sort of interesting. It basically gives you some sort of insight into, prepares you for spiritual warfare for yourself and personally, and in the world out there as well.
Yeah, so but it also, not only that, it also, every time you sort of questioning your faith, you read that book, you start recognizing the stuff.
No, well, that's exactly what I'm saying, Scott. So it looks at your situation personally and relationally with God, and then how in the greater world as well. So it actually covers both the personal level and the sort of social level as well, in a corporate level, which is great.
Bill Hammond just commented over here. He says, keep in mind, our Creator is always in control. We walk in the light and don't fear the workers of the dark. Absolutely, Bill. We definitely walk in the light, and that's what I was saying earlier on about the capital will and the small will. We need to submit to the will of God and understand that all these things are His will. This is actually our slogan on this show. Actually, is God wills it, and we submit completely to the will of God. And but thanks for joining, Bill. I actually asked Bill if he was related to the great Dr. Peter Hammond on one of our comment sections and stuff. Apparently, he's not. I think Bill is a Bill. I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think that you are somewhere in the Eastern Cape or somewhere. But anyway, so John says that he associates with us. Thanks, John. I'm glad that you do. Tell all your friends about us, because that's basically all we do is just talk about these things and hope people listen.
So what? Okay, yeah. There's old John. What's he got to say there? Yeah,
It's good.
I read C.S. Lewis, Mere Christianity, then actually got dialed in with John MacArthur's Our Sufficiency in Christ. Yeah, look, it's Mere Christianity will get you to ask a lot of sort of questions, and it'll answer a lot of questions as well. But it'll build your sort of the idea behind Mere Christianity is to build a solid theological framework, if I can remember correctly. So yeah.
Yeah, but Mere Christianity was a I mean, C.S. Lewis, in case you guys don't know, I mean, C.S. Lewis was an outright atheist. I mean, up until he's all through his 20s, until his early 30s, when he called himself a theist or a deist or whatever. And within a year of becoming I think it was a theist that he became, he was a Christian. And a lot of that is thanks to his good friend J.R.R. Tolkien, who was a devout Catholic. And that's, these are two intellectual powers of that time. And thank God my boy J.R.R. Tolkien went and told C.S. Lewis about the glory of God. Otherwise, we wouldn't have masterpieces like Screwtape Letters and Mere Christianity out there.
Yeah, no, it is. What are we going to move on to now?
I don't know. I think we're pretty much done. We've been going for like over an hour now. Unless you want to talk about something, we can talk about something.
I'll just bring it up. It looks like the great bust out has started.
I'll just bring it up. Okay, what's the great bust out, Russell?
Silver is busted out.
Oh, yes, you've been waiting all night for this, Russell. You've been waiting all night to gloat about your shekels.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, the thing is, people have given me a hard time over the years. You're buying the wrong stuff, you need to go, S&P, and you need to go this, and you need tech, and, just follow the crowd. And, but I mean, the thing is that at the moment, the last week or so, there is absolutely nothing standing in the way of precious metals at the moment. It is, it's storming along. Silver's up, I think, more than 10% the last 2 weeks. So, it's quite something.
Part of, in case you guys didn't notice, our YouTube channel is called Reactionary Opinions. And part of being a reactionary, it's not an insult if you call someone, maybe in politics it's an insult to call someone reactionary and stuff. It really isn't an insult. Basically what it is it's when you have realized that the world around you is crumbling and going to hell in a handbasket, you start to wonder where things went wrong and what happened to make them go wrong. And part of that whole transition into becoming a reactionary is also knowing and understanding wealth and where that went wrong. And we, actually, myself and Russell and Dylan have done a episode about community banking. Go and check that out. It's on our channel as well. It's a great episode. And myself and Russell, and I guess Dylan as well, are very pro the gold standard when it comes to currency. We're not fond of fiat currency. Hey, Russell?
Yeah, look, like I say, you wouldn't need a gold standard if people behaved themselves. That's basically, it's not a case of you have to have a gold standard. You don't have to have a gold standard, actually. But the problem is governments always spend too much money and spend too much of other people's money and run up debts, and that's the problem. You know, you shouldn't actually need a gold standard. You know, gold should just be there. You know, but unfortunately, this is the situation. But the whole thing is, it took me. This has been about 10 years or so of studying the whole sort of financial system, and I bought. And all my gold, it's not like I bought the other day either. I've been accumulating for years, and I bought at the bottom because I knew that at some stage things had to change. You know, every 10 to 20 years there's a massive precious metals run. Every 10 to 20 years there's a massive bull run in precious metals, where the price goes up tenfold or something like that.
Yeah, that's. But silver at this point in time is jumping through the roof. Why do you think, Russell?
It's just catching up. It's not actually. There's the gold-silver ratio. At one stage, the gold-silver ratio reached 120. That means it took 120 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. All right. That was the record ever, and that was a few months ago. That's how cheap silver was about 3 months ago. So now it's basically, So basically, what happens is the gold price goes up more, all right, and the gold-silver ratio comes down. You get that extra leverage on silver. That's what makes silver such a useful thing. It does work the other way as well, but there's less downside risk at the moment, because the gold-silver ratio is still very, very high. Even on basically a historical average gold-silver ratio of the last 15 years is about 60-1, and the gold-silver ratio is still about 80-1.
Sure.
So silver could without actually a real price increase in silver, it could still go from about $23 an ounce, where it is now, to 27, and it would still be not overvalued, historically overvalued.
So this is, for all you guys listening, this is what news is supposed to be about. It's about the headlines, and then we talk about, human life, and then we talk about the financials. So this is, I think we might have to make this a regular fixture on a Friday evening. Make it our news recap for the week. But yes, John, you missed quite a lot this evening. He says, I'll have to watch this again. I've missed lots. By the way, nice water cannon you guys have there. Water cannon.
Well, has it got something to do with the water cannon we were talking about with the cops earlier, or something like that?
Yeah, in Cape Town. But John, don't you know Cape Town as well? I mean, I don't know. Do you?
I think John's in the UK at the moment. I follow him on Strava, and he does runs in Strava. He does runs in the UK. Yeah.
The UK.
I follow him on Strava as well.
One of those oaks, man. So anyway, anyone else want to chat about something else in the comment section? I don't mind hanging out for longer. We're going to be like one of those oaks, like kom ons praat kak, like Ronaldo.
Yeah, but we don't get people to throw money at us like internet strippers, YouTube strippers.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, John says I'm far away. Ooh, cryptic. Ooh, I'm far away. Ooh. Ooh. I'm also far away. Ooh.
Yeah, far away from JP. Yeah, but But yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think the Friday night is a good thing just to wind down the week with a. We'll try and clip it to just maybe an hour. Take say 2-3 stories and just talk about those, bring it down to an hour or so.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do, guys, is we're trying to have one guest a week on the show, and then on the Friday night we'll do what we're doing now, and then what I've tried to do is try and release a video, but it's so difficult, guys. I mean, I've got a wife, I have a stressful job, and all of these things. So it's difficult to do these things, but I will try as hard as I can. I have tons and tons of scripts for videos and stuff. I just need to find the way to try and figure out how to get these things done. But I will get to it. I will get to it. Believe me.
No.
Shirley says, "Oh, thanks, Shirley. You're so kind." She says, "You've given us some excellent ideas. Thanks, Shirley. I think we might have met on the chat section on Letheria's channel, on Beth's channel, right? I think so. Yeah, Beth's a real sweetheart. I don't know if I've told Beth this, but I think Beth should do ASMR. Have you ever heard of ASMR? It's this like a YouTube thing where you put in your headphones and you get like these tingles and stuff. I think Beth has a voice for ASMR because she talks real soft and like, yeah, okay, guys and stuff. She has this very sweet voice and stuff. And I think it'll be perfect. She'll be perfect for ASMR. But what a lovely. I enjoy Beth. She's fantastic. Anyway, anything else that you want to discuss, Russell?
No, I'm good. Brought up everything. Yeah, it's just like sometimes to give a bit of a wind down and a bit of a event and get everybody charged up on what needs to happen, you know?
Absolutely. Yes, Shirley. Yes, I always watch Beth. Yes, that's weird. I thought so. Well, welcome, Shirley. I hope that you enjoy our show, and thank you so much for listening. Anyway, remember, guys, subscribe, share this stuff, send your friends and family and all of them around to us. Thank you so much for listening tonight. We really appreciate it. Russell, you have anything else to say? Nothing?
Done. I'm just thankful. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us, and really appreciate your support. And yeah, we're going to be going through the news more often. So if you want to actually just in the future do the news with us, it'll be great. Great to have you. Cheers, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Stay reactionary out there because
God wills it.